Plaintiff Angela Byers dated the defendant, and they lived together for 3 years. Angela claims the defendant was addicted to pornography, and as a result, their relationship deteriorated, so she moved out. Angela is suing her ex-boyfriend for unpaid wages. Defendant Clarence Bullitt Jr. says he wasn't addicted to pornography, but Angela was addicted to sex, and she nearly broke down his door every night. Clarence claims he kicked Angela out after she had him falsely arrested and then robbed him, and he's countersuing for stolen money and rent.
Start with you.
Okay. We met almost 8 years ago, since 2013 we lived together full time, and I quickly realized that he had a porn addiction. He would watch pornography 10, 12, 14 hours a day, every day. And
He didn't work?
No, he quit working the day we met.
To do that?
No.
Why
Maybe a
quit?
few years later, yeah. But no, 2008 was the last time he worked. But from 2013 on, he looked at pornography full time, every day.
Was he getting paid? You say full
No.
time.
10, 12 hours a day, that is a job, I think.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he did to
He
pass
had
his time.
retired?
Yeah. He is retired now.
Were you there when
Yes,
this
sir, I
happening?
was. Yes, I was.
You didn't try to interfere?
Oh, yeah, I tried to make a nice home for us and be entertaining.
No, I'm
And
talking about when you saw him doing that.
oh, yeah, I
When
tried
you
to
saw
give it
him
a shot.
watching all the porn,
Yes,
did
sir.
you step in front of the TV and say no?
Yes.
Or turn the channel?
The internet, yes, I would. Yes.
Did he fight you?
Yes.
That's addiction.
Yes,
Is
sir.
this true, sir?
Not at all. Not at all. You want this thing based on fact, you should hear the facts. She's a liar. She's lied all her life. She's a good liar. She's lied to her family. Her family don't like her. And my retirement, I was 64 years old when I retired. I'm a retired engineer. I have a settlement from my sister. I didn't have to work anymore.
All right. And when do you say he was doing all this?
He did it full time since 2013 when we lived together.
And that much Viagra in the world for 12 hours.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead, ma'am. What else you want me to know?
Well, in January of this year, I moved out. I couldn't take it anymore. It was dehumanizing, demoralizing, frustrating, and hurtful as a woman. So I moved out. In
Because of that.
Yeah, it was hard to compete with that many women.
And
Your
you
Honor-
told him that.
Hard.
Your Honor,
That
Your
many
Honor,
women.
she's lying. I threw her out. She didn't quit, leave. I threw her out. I threw
Why?
her because she stole everything I had. She took every penny out of my bank account. She took $700 out of my checking account with my debit
When?
card. That was in January or the late December 2015.
You say you moved because he was watching porno
Our
all the time?
relationship had deteriorated, yes, sir.
Your Honor, she broke my door down every night trying to get sex. I didn't have a porn addiction. She had a sexual problem. She wanted me and I didn't want her. And I threw her out. She didn't walk out. I threw her out because she lied to the police saying that I scratched her and got me thrown in jail for domestic violence. And then 12 hours later, they let me go and dropped all the charges. And I went back to my house 12 hours later and it was been robbed. I thought it was her, of course, first thing. But I found out later it wasn't. She said it wasn't. I couldn't find a thing.
Ma'am, did you call the police on him for domestic violence?
No, sir. I'd called him to keep the peace so I could get the last of my stuff out of the house. And when they came, they seen the scratches and arrested him.
And she said I scratched her. That's what she did.
They arrested him without you telling them that?
They asked where the scratches were, and I said he grabbed me.
And you didn't think that meant domestic violence?
Yes, I know it does.
And they arrested him as a result of you telling
Yes,
him
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're playing games with me?
Don't go away. More of Judge Mathis is coming up.
Plaintiff Angela Byers dated the defendant, but she claims she broke up with him because he was severely addicted to pornography.
Let's get to the wages, ma'am. But so far, it sounds like he has more credibility than you. Go ahead.
Okay. I went back in February to start taking care of him because in January...
1 month later?
About 6 weeks later, yes, sir. Yes.
You told me you left in January.
January 10th. I went back February 25th.
Okay.
Is the exact day I went back. For about a month I did, and then I told him he was going to have to start paying me, that I was starting to get a little bit of a life 50 miles away in another town on my own, and he needed to start paying me. And I asked for $100 a day, and he refused. So we settled on $50.
As of February or March?
In March, you're right.
End of March, beginning of March?
The middle of March,
obviously
March
middle.
23rd,
Okay.
I think, to be exact.
Your Honor?
Let her finish, and then
Okay.
I'll get back to you. Mid-March, you all agreed he would pay you, and what were you to provide? What type of care?
Caregiving duties, anything that he needed, like taking care of the house, listening to him cooking, entertainment.
Listening to him cook.
No, listening to him talk,
Okay,
political
got it.
talks, cooking, cleaning, dusting with no top on, being entertainment.
You were to dust with no
Just
top
a couple
on?
times. A couple times.
That was part of the agreement, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
And you agreed to that?
Yes.
Why? For $50?
A day.
Strippers get more than $50 a day, ma'am.
Yes, sir, they do.
Go ahead. What else was the agreement, ma'am? Cooking, cleaning,
Cooking, cleaning, waiting on him, helping him with personal needs and hygiene.
talking to him.
I worked there 45 days with $50 a day. I basically was living there with him. I got a bed and stayed in the spare room. Yeah.
What did you mean by basically?
I lived there. I had
But why
4
do you
days
say
off.
basically?
Because I didn't have any furnishings there. I had moved out in January
That's
and
not
took
what
all
that
my
means. Your
possessions.
credibility, you heard in about a moment, ma'am. Let me hear from you, sir.
Well, where do you want me to start?
About whether you had an agreement with her to pay her $50 a day beginning in mid-March to be your caretaker and to walk around topless.
She didn't quit or walk away. I fired her, told her to get
You
out.
fired her for walking around topless?
No, I used to lock my door up at night to keep her away from me. The thing is she worked for the county for a couple months, and she got 9 hours a day to work to do my needs. That's all she got. But I fired her. And when I come back and my debit card was taken.
Nope. Did she move in to
She
care
wrote
for
out
you?
a contract, Your Honor. It's right here on the third month, 18,
Let's see
of
your
$100
contract
a
on
day.
the back of a paper plate.
$100 a day. And I told her at that point, she's crazy. I would not pay her $100 a day. She didn't do anything anyway.
What did you agree to pay her, sir?
She also put perks.
What did you agree to pay her?
I said nothing to exchange was rent. She had to pay me rent if she wasn't going to do anything.
And how
for me.
much was that
She
to
begged
be?
to get back in the house.
How much was that to be?
$65 a day, sir.
$65 a day
Yes,
in
sir.
rent.
Right, $65 a day.
Multiply that by 30 days.
No, that's for 45 days, yeah.
Okay, so let's do 45 days.
45 times 65.
It's $2,925.
He's right. 29.20.
$29.25. How much were you paying?
I paid $775 a month, but that was the rent. But she had my car. She drove my car anytime. She didn't pay insurance.
What was she to get for taking care of you?
That was what she was going to get. She was going to get the rent. She was going to get my car to drive. She had Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. She had a telephone.
Wi-Fi in the house.
Yeah.
What would she drive your car? Did she ever drive it to provide anything for you?
Whatever I needed her to drive me, get something from the store, I expected her to be there. She was never there. She was gone all the time in the little
she
car.
never did drive and get you
No,
anything
she never
from
got
the
things
store.
for me. She never did a thing for me.
Okay,
All she did is
good
drive
enough.
around and freeload off my money when I gave her $100 to go
She
get a
never
$20.
cared for you?
Oh, once in a while, once maybe at the average of about 30 minutes a day. The dishes was constantly dirty. I couldn't even get in the floor in the kitchen because it was wet. There was nothing done. The bathroom was terrible. It just turned into a big ball of mess.
Plaintiff Angela Byers dated the defendant, but she claims she broke up with him because he was severely addicted to pornography.
Ma'am, you stayed there all that time, and when you asked for money, what would he say?
That he had money coming to just hold on.
Did he tell you when it would be coming?
Yes, in the end there, it was any day then. And then when the check came, he didn't pay me. He kicked me out.
Why did he kick you out?
Because he said he wasn't going to pay me, and he cursed at me and said I never was going to. Because I said, get up, I'm getting you dressed, we're going to the bank. I'm going to get paid.
She stole $700 out of my
Let me hear
checking
that.
account.
That's your counterclaim. What happened there?
I come out of the hospital. I looked into my checking account. My card, my debit account, or my checking account was debited $700. It was unauthorized. She took it. I confronted her. What'd you do with the money, or did you take the money? She says, yeah, you forced me into this. Well, that wasn't the money that she supposedly says I owe her for the 45 days. That's before that even happened. That's why I threw her out, because she stole that.
Ma'am, did you take $700 out of his account without
yes, sir,
his permission?
Did. Yes, sir.
So why don't you think you should be held accountable for that, and why wouldn't you think that's theft?
I didn't think it was theft because I felt like he pushed me into that when he would not let me use the car. After I've always drove a car all my life and drove the car we had.
Wouldn't let you use his car.
It was our car, yes.
It was my car, paid for by
How much did you
insured
put
by
on
me.
it?
None. I sold mine and drove his.
All right. Yeah. Ma'am, you're very confused today, it sounds like. I'm going to conclude that the wages were in exchange for rent. I'm going to go with what he's saying. I'm not going to grant you any rent, though, because I believe you did receive care from her while she was there. I will grant you your $700. Somehow you think that you could remove money from his account without his permission because of a car he would not let you use that you paid zero toward. Your claim is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant in the amount of $700. Have a good day.
She's going to be gone, and I'm going to be living okay.
I'm going to be happy, but broke.